What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Age of Quarantine. I'm David Castillo from Saint Vitus Bar. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Today, I am being joined by Isaac Shane. Isaac is an amazing artist. Goes by the name EU1OGY with a 1 as the L. It's really great project. Just came out with a new record called Daggers that I really dig. Just super awesome. And he also does something called Drip 410, which is a little bit more in the hardcore realm-ish, but I really enjoy it. And yeah, so Isaac rules, and we're just really happy to have him on the show. So he should be joining us shortly. Hope everything is good out there for everybody. And let's see if we can find Isaac here. Sent you a request, so all you got to do is join up, dude. And here we are, Isaac Shane, the one, the only. Welcome
what's up,
to
dude?
the age. Welcome
Thanks
to
for
the age
having
of
me.
quarantine. Absolutely, it's been some time in the making. I feel like, Isaac. I feel like it's good to finally sit down and do the damn thing. So I was just telling everybody, new record, Daggers out, really digging it, have it on rotation. Just one of my favorite things I've heard in a minute. So thanks for joining us. And let's take it from the top. So here at Age of Quarantine, you know, we kind of like to chart the journey of getting to that great record, Daggers, right? So let's start where you're from.
Uh-huh.
You are a Baltimore-based artist, but did you grow up
Yeah,
there? Where are you from?
yeah. So I grew up in Baltimore. I moved to Baltimore. I was 10. I was born and raised in Hagerstown. But when I was 10 years old, I moved to Baltimore. So
Cool.
I claim the city.
You claim the city. Got it. All right, cool. So growing up, what was one of your first kind of interactions with music? When did you find out, like, you know, in your early life that you can remember where you're like, oh, I think music's a thing for me. I really like it. I'm attracted to this energy here.
I want to say in I want to say like early 90s. Probably when I was about 8 or 9, and my friends' older siblings wore like Dave Matthew Band shirts and just like No Doubt shirts and this stuff that I didn't know what it was, but the vibe was like a little rugged, you know? So I kind of like got into music that way. I would say No Doubt was probably one of the first bands that made me want to be like, wow, this is some shit. I want to do this.
Oh, interesting. So it was
Yeah.
kind of like a sibling. Are you an only child or youngest in your family?
So it's kind of it goes two ways. So I'm adopted. In my biological family, I'm the oldest male. And then in my adopted family, I'm one of the two middle children.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. Interesting. It's always interesting how just kind of random things, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a friend's older sibling, right? It's just like
Yeah.
these random things that set you off on the course. And so it was sort of these aesthetics that
Yeah.
kind of brought you in. And so you were saying it's a little bit more rugged, a little feeling like that. So No Doubt was sort of a gateway, an
Yeah.
entry
Yeah.
point for you, which is super interesting. How old, like what year you like early 90s we're
This was
talking
probably
about?
like 93, 94.
Cool, cool. So we're kind of riding that wave. So what were like besides No Doubt, what were the earliest bands that you were kind of like getting into? And just, you know, obviously we start off kind of like with the biggest of the big, right?
Um, so, you know, growing up in that era, I was also into like radio, hip hop, and country music just by origin of where I was at, and everything in between, honestly. So like Dixie Chicks, ironically, Michael Jackson, Metallica, and these are just things that stick out. You know what I mean? Like when I'm young, especially because like Beavis and Butthead, like MTV, highly influenced by like just like a lot of like pop culture in a way. You know, not really underground. I didn't really know about things like that, but just, you know, I would see like the MTV and the grunge shit, and then BT and the Box and weird stuff like that, and then even CMT. And I was Nickelodeon, so just kind of like TV, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. That was huge for me too. And like in my household, I'm first generation Colombian, so my parents really listened to a lot of Spanish sung music, but it
Hmm.
was my brothers who kind of got me into more American music and like, Guns N' Roses and shit
Right.
like that when I was growing up. And it was really their influence, and my best friend Josh, who his parents were like a little bit younger and they were Americans, they were like hippies and shit. So like it's always interesting to see where you kind of like start bringing those things together. So you're listening to all this stuff, you're like, all right, I'm on in the alternative zone, right?
Yeah.
Like you're
Yeah.
you're you're already there, right? And
Right.
so once you're there, what was kind of like the next steps in terms of you discovering newer music and going deeper?
Um, that kind of didn't hit until probably after high school, honestly. I mean, during high school and in middle school, like I was blessed to go to like a magnet middle school for art, so I had to like kind of had to apply for that. So I was kind of around like art and other gifted kids at a young age, and even into high school. But so then I learned about like like Slipknot and Korn and a little maybe like heavier bands and stuff like that, like ICP, uh, Rammstein, just like MSI, like just everything. I kind of just took it all in. I remember like looking at Circus magazine, like going to the library and like renting Circus magazine and like taking it home and like tearing out like pictures, like putting in my binder, and like AP magazine and all this stuff. Like I like because every month my parents would make us like go to the library and get books or something. And I was like, oh, cool, I can rent CDs and magazines here. So I just started like, oh, cool, MXPX or like, just whatever like that seemed cool that I wanted but couldn't technically like afford, but I could rent it from a library, have it for a month. So it's
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
and then I could always like re-rent it if no one wanted it. Like you could just re-rent it. You just had to take it back in 30 days. So like for sometimes I would have albums for like months, half a year. And so I kind of like, that's how I got into like having like physical music. And then like the Discman and Walkman was pretty big at like high school. So I'd wear like Jankos and just put that shit in my back pocket.
Because those pockets were like
Yeah.
this big. This is the
Yeah.
actual size of one
They were
Jenko
pretty
pocket. My
big.
whole head fits in it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Me too,
So
man, because I love skating and things of
yeah.
that nature. So I was just like on some big fresh jive ass pants and like airwalks or like,
Yeah.
and then
Airwalks.
yeah, all day, man, airwalks. And I
Yeah.
used to also, I had some like Eric Costin S's that I used
Okay.
to rock a lot
Yeah.
too because I like to actually skateboard. And then
Uh-huh.
and once I got more into like Girl and Toy
Yeah.
Machine, and that's a lot of the reason I got into skating,
Yeah.
was a big reason I got into like heavier music and
Yeah.
shit like that too. So it was definitely a gateway point. Did you do any of that sort of stuff? Like
Yeah,
it,
I got into skating. I didn't, I could do a thing or two, and it's always in my heart. I can hop on a deck right now. But so I got into like my first. I remember I wanted to skateboard. My parents didn't, bless their soul. They tried, they got me like a Nash deck, so it wasn't really like too nice, but it wasn't shitty. But like, it didn't have like good bearings or anything, but it was still like, I could hang. And that was my first skateboard. And I was really gravitated to hookup decks, the graphics on hookup decks. Like I follow that guys to this day. And then like you said, Toy Machine. So I skated for a little bit. I kind of just dabbled into everything, man. Honestly, I did BMX for a year with my homies. Just been in forks left and right, like cake and shit, just case and shit. Honestly, growing up, I was lucky enough to be brave enough to just try new things, and my parents were down enough to just let me take it in if it was something I took in. Because I also like swam and played soccer, so it was just a
yeah,
lot of
definitely.
shit.
I
Yeah,
played varsity tennis, baby.
yeah,
I'm right
fuck
here
yeah,
for you,
yeah,
dude.
yeah, yeah,
I'm like the Andre Agassi of St.
yeah.
Vitus. Don't
I just
worry
wanted
about
to
it.
do it all, But
Yeah,
music and skateboarding and art, I just gravitate toward that the most out of everything that I ever got into, for sure.
yeah, and I think that that's a beautiful part about being a kid, is just trying things and seeing where you may fit in this
Yeah,
world or do whatever, Look, we
mhm,
have some tennis players in the comments,
yeah,
baby. So, and that's really interesting. So let me go back a little bit though. You said you went to a high school that was, like a magnet school for like art and things of that nature. When
Yeah,
you
I
were
started off in middle school for magnet school, and then so sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, I was in magnet middle school, and then I went to magnet high school in ninth grade, which was at Patapsco. If anyone in Baltimore, they know about that. And then the 10th through 12th grade, I went to my home school. I was like, fuck all this. I just did that. But then I did a whole bunch of art programs in like Overly. So I
and
wasn't
this is more visual arts, not performing arts.
Yeah, well in high school I was in theater. So I was in like Fiddler on the Roof, So I did the acting thing. I was also in this thing called American Friends Service Committee, which was like a Quaker program that was through my sister who went to Sarah Lawrence. She was really into theater. So she got me into this like thing with this lady, Miss Francois, and we did like improv theater. We wrote this play called Piecing It Together. It was a musical. So I kind of had some theater background growing up too, but art magnet, and then once I just went to like public school, I did everything. I did photography, art, studio, guitar. I was just like fuck it, like I'm not in a magnet, but like everyone knew me as the art kid because I didn't go to local school for 4 years. I was like in other schools in this magnet program. So when I came back, everyone just knew me as like this kid who lived in a neighborhood but was going to magnet schools. But then I was like deeply involved in art in high school. Like I was president of Honors Art Society. I was in orchestra. I played bass in orchestra. So I was just like really hands-on.
But that's awesome because to me, one of the things that has sort of, when I think about Eulogy, right, I feel like it's a full audio visual project, right?
Yeah. So it's everything.
So understanding this background of like you going to high school in this particular kind of like mode and fashion, I think is very clear that it has like influenced kind of like your musical output and really like just your artistic output, right? Because it's all in one way. So let's just talk about the actual playing a little bit. So I've seen you, playing drums. I've seen you playing. Obviously, you play guitar and you sing and you do a lot of things, and you do Eulogy and things like that. When did you just pick up an instrument and start playing? When did that sort of start happening for you?
Ninth grade. I want to say ninth grade. I asked for a guitar and like a skateboard and like Doc Martens, like like all this one year.
The big three.
Yeah, like just like I was just like I want this look. I like need these things. I want to get into this thing, because it's a vibe, and this is like 90, 98, 99, and
look good, feel good, baby. We gotta have the docs. The whole shit, man.
So I needed the whole shebang, and then my mom got me a nice ass acoustic guitar from Mars Music. If anyone knew about Mars Music when that was around, and I didn't even know how to play it. I didn't know about notes or chords or anything, but I did have like a cassette player, like a Sony cassette player, and you could hit like play and record like whatever was in the room. So I would just like make like weird like demo tapes like that, but I didn't know I was making demo tapes. I was just like, oh, I can record this and I have a guitar and I can like record over it. So I just started like kind of like, that was when I kind of like really got into at least like putting something on wax.
Yeah,
I would just sit in my basement and dude, honestly, I wasn't playing or strumming anything, but my parents were rocking with it upstairs, just let me do my thing, so it was cool.
Yeah, that's dope. Honestly, it's cool to have such supportive parents and like them wanting you to explore all this stuff, as a kid and like kind of figuring that stuff out. So that's sort of like the high school years, right? So we kind of are like, all right, we're kind of pushing all the edges out. We're like exploring everything and like, cool. When does it start to sort of hit now? Like, okay, hardcore, punk rock, these sorts of things are now, I'm discovering the underground music that would come to start shaping, your future projects.
So guitar class, 11th grade, this guy, Jeff, I sat beside, he was into like Thursday, that whole realm of stuff, like Between the Baron and Me and just like Full Blown Chaos and just anything heavy, Through the Eyes of the Dead, just all these like metalcore, Dead to Fall, Blood Has Been Shed, Every Time I Die, As I Lay Dying, like all that whole like Trust Kill, Ferret, Victory Records, just all that whole scene kind of just came across me like at the same time as like Warped Tour and stuff, which really didn't go hand in hand, but they did when it happened, you know? But then also like Yellow Card and like Fall Out Boy and shit's getting big too. So probably like after high school, I went to this thing called HF Festival, which was like this big festival in Maryland, DC area, like Good Charlotte, Offspring, Jay-Z, Linkin Park, The Cure, like all these bands played, you know what I mean? And that was like my first like, and then it was like indie bands as well. So it was like, oh shit, there's indie artists here. So like after high school, like I just kind of like started going to shows, like, you know, like VFWs or churches or like wherever underground shows were at. And it was totally new experience for me. I just like kind of like fell in love with it, you know, just like the whole, like, I felt like this was like 2004, 2005. I felt like it was a secret, you know, and I would come home and I would like, you know, be like, wow, that was so cool. Like, and only like these people kind of like were there. So like only these people know about it because I know they look a certain way. You know what I mean? So I just felt like a part of this club. You know what I mean? Had the carabiner on my like hip, you know, got some girl pants, like, you know, like just the whole vibe. And then
I mean, I think when that happens too, right? When you do feel that, you're kind of looking around and it's like, it's almost like skateboarding in a way, right?
Yeah.
Like a set of stairs to a skateboarder
yeah.
is a completely different thing than a set of stairs to a normal person, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
For other people, a VFW hall might be a place that your grandpa gets ripped, you know, like randomly at night. But for me, I'm like, that's where a hardcore show could happen, like a hall like that. Like that might be like that kind of place, right? So it really changes how you view the world a little bit. And that's something I always like to sort of point out, right? Like even places, things, after you sort of experience this, you know, and after going to such big shows, right, the intimacy of something like that, right, is kind of like, holy shit. So what were a couple of early shows that kind of like left some of those impressions on you? Were like, damn, man, this shit is for me. I want to do this fucking shit.
So like my first local show was like Farewell Hope at some I think this place called the Bro Aces, Rob Sullivan, Ruiner, one of his events. And then that was when I was like, oh shit, this is like, there's people on everyday level like doing this as well, and people are coming out, not just like famous people, you know, like this is a thing like within the community as well, and it's just as live. But also it felt like a secret in a way, you know. I want to say when I saw Blood Has Been Shed, As I Lay Dying, Every Time I Die tour in like early 2000s, that was like one of the first shows I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I saw like people like moshing, like moshing like spin kicks and shit. And I was just like, yeah, this is like, I'm in here.
Like I like this energy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly. How old are you, Isaac?
35.
Okay, so you're just a little bit younger than I am. I just turned 38. I just turned 38 not too long ago, but it's, you know, the internet wasn't really around so much for me. Like it was dial up until I got to college, and then literally like Facebook happened while I was in college. So I didn't know how people were going to act when I went to these things, right? Like until I got the New York Hardcore documentary on videotape, and I was like, oh my God, look at these shows, right? This is crazy. But I just remember being like, holy shit, like this is how people, this is crazy. Everyone's jumping all over each other, and what the fuck? And I was transfixed. I was just like, this is nuts. And I was a little scared, but I just wanted to get a little closer too.
For sure.
Fuck, you know? So that energy, palpable, right? And so do you think that energy kind of made you want to like try that? Were you like, man, I want to be a part of this? Or was that still like a little bit further away in terms of trying to make your own sort of brand of music?
I just wanted to be a part of it at first because like it just resonated, you know, like because like, you know, I was really into like the double kick and breakdowns and like the whole two-step part and just the art of that, the dancing form of like hardcore dancing, and then just like the showmanship, and even just like lugging a big ass half stack up there with the head and like plugging in, like just watching kids do that just seemed like reachable, you know what I mean? Like and at one point it was the only things I saw on like MTV, you know, and then so I think going to shows and like local shows was like, all right, there's like 200 kids here to see this band that's just like the kid that lives down the street. This is doable, like, you know.
And so, I think one of the things that's super powerful is the kid from down the street, or like, you know, four scruffy guys from Buffalo just turn into like, for like an hour, they turn into something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're like, holy shit, you know? Yeah. Like, yo, if you saw Keith Buckley just like chilling, you'd be like, oh, hey, what's up, dude? Like, whatever. Sure. And then all of a sudden he goes and he does that, and you're like,
right.
Wow, holy crap. You're like, that's you? That's wild. I always thought that was really cool, like this sort of like unassuming thing. And then all of a sudden it's just like, you're a fucking superhero flying through the air, screaming crap about your life to people. And like, you don't get that in society, right? Like you don't get the moments to sort of like do that. And you see very, I think in a lot of performance, you see actualized people, like people giving you their truths at certain times. And that's to me really inspiring, especially when it's like Vision of Disorders from Merrick. I'm from Wantagh. That's like, you know, like a 10-minute drive, not even. And I'm like, that's crazy. I didn't know this was possible, right?
Exactly.
So, and I was the same way. I wanted to go to every show and dance for every band and just go nuts. I wanted to be that. And in fact, Chris, who's in the comments, Chris, who's my co-host, literally still to this day was like, you know, I just remember Dave because he would go to every show and he'd dance for every band. Yeah. Like from when I got there till when I ended. Like I just couldn't, I was just that, you know. I'm a little long in the tooth now, and, you know, maybe I like dance at the industrial club a little bit, you know, every now and again, you know, I'll get it in, but it's, that was the thing that I first wanted to be a part of. Right. Yeah. So tell me about just, you know, kind of you're gaining the influence, but at a certain point it was like, hey, I want to play music. I want to be in a band. I want to do that shit. Right. Yeah. Tell me about just tell me about that.
So that was all around the same time where I think when I was younger, I always had the idea that I wanted to be in a band, but it never seemed obtainable just because of like gear, having somewhere to practice, meeting kids that want to do stuff. Like that all didn't seem like, I didn't know anyone personally that had like drum sets, or well, my cousin had a drum set, but I didn't know anyone that had like amps, or like, it just didn't seem like it just seemed like only certain people could do it. You know what I mean? Honestly. You know, I started going to shows, and then the guy, Jeff, that I was in guitar with in high school, we kind of just, I don't even know how it happened. I think like we were just like, yo, let's, like, someone had some amps and got a microphone and like a drum set, and then we just started jamming. And that was just like, happened once or twice. And I used to work at one of my first jobs was like working at Hot Topic in the mall, White Marsh Mall, in the area where I was from. And it was like, that was like something too that was like, you know, there wasn't any men of color working at Hot Topic at that time at all, you know? So that, it was like a big deal to me, because it was a type of job where like, not too many people got it. It was like, damn, you get to be the dude with the piercings and wear whatever. And like, it was kind of like, it was always taboo, but it was like, wasn't like corny, you know what I mean? And when I was growing up, so like, I got this job at Hot Topic, and I met these kids. I would see kids at the mall a day with like whatever, like band t-shirts on and stuff, you know. And I worked in this music store in that showed band shirts. So I just see like, at least, I didn't know if they were like-minded, but at least they looked as if they were into shit that I might be into. And I met these two kids, these two twins, Jake and Josh. And they were like, yo, they were just like, yo, what are you, like, what's up with you? You know what I mean? I was like, what's up with y'all? And then they were like, oh, you know, we play music. And I was like, yeah, sick. We too. We got like a little band going on. You guys should come play, jam out. And they were like, oh yeah, we can play the whole Opposite of December, Poison the Well, like album. Like me and him could, like him on drums, me on guitar. And I was like, yeah, you're in our band. Come to the space like next week. We're lit, you know. And then we started this band. And then it was called Dead Above Ground. It was like a metalcore band. And it kind of like
dude, Opposite of December, what a record. Dude,
they never proved it to me, but they were talented enough. Like I think like I went to their dad's house and like, you know, like up in Baltimore County, and they like did some shred it for me, and we were like, let's go. You know what I mean? I was like, guys are in the band, and they were twins, they were brothers, so it was like cool. It was like the missing pieces, and they were like down, you know. So.
And you were singing for that band, or were you?
Yeah, I did vocals. Yeah, so it was like a metalcore band. My first band ever. It's my first band ever. So we, you know, we got a storage unit to rehearse in whenever we wanted, 24 hours a day, and we would like use an extension cord and like plug it up to the main like house and just like run it to our storage unit and just like plug up all the amps and shit and just like be lit all day, you know, just like hang out and just like hang out in our storage unit and play with all our gear. And this is like 2004, 2003. So it's like, it was like one of those things. It was like storage unit, get first month free. So we're like, fuck yeah. Like we don't have any money. And it's like, so we're just like, it was like $50 a month. It wasn't that much money, but no one really had jobs or anything. Like we were all like, it was like 15 to 19-year-olds. So we had, some people worked, some people didn't. So like paying something for like $50 a month was like a responsibility that we were like, but the first month's free and the last month's free. So like, fuck it. Like maybe we'll just have it for 3 months and like, we'll, just, you know, so it was kind of like that type of deal, you know, because I don't think we had it for like more than like 3 months, you know what I mean? And then, I don't know, we started practicing and shit. And then like the two twins, they were like still in high school. So they were like really big on MySpace and all that culture. And I was working at Hot Topic, but I wasn't like on MySpace or the computer internet like that. So it was just like this weird, like, they were like digital and I was like in real life, you know what I mean? And then we kind of just like crossed, and that's how our big band got big. You know, I was at the mall every day and easy, you know,
just
selling
chilling.
tickets. Yeah, just chilling. I'm at Hot Topic. Hey, I'm in a band. Cool, you know. So we would play like these basement church shows and like the venues and shit. It was lit every week. It's crazy.
It's pretty amazing too when it really just it takes sort of, I feel like, people who are just really like, no matter how much of this shit we do, like on the phone and all this, whatever have you, you got to be good, and you have to kind of like hustle it in real life and try and like play and do things. Like at the end of the day, it's still like that, right? Whether it's now, then 25, 30 years ago, it's still like, hey, all right, cool. Like, and especially stuff that is more an underground music culture too. It's making yourself known, to be aware, you know, just on the street level first, you know what I mean? Like go to shows, be friends with people, check shit out, let people know who you are, and just kind of start, you know, making, you know, progress and knowing stuff, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And so that sort of stuff is like very, I think that's like a great thing too, between what you were saying, you're like, we're at this crossroads. Cause like, I think a lot of people just like left your IRL promotion stuff out and now are just in the digital realm, maybe like the twins.
For sure.
And I think that everyone should remember that like this part, it's like X marks the spot. Shout out to Darkman X, RIP. But it's just like that, right? And it's like, cool. And, you know, here, I mean, like in New York, where I grew up, I mean, that was like that for everything, whether it be hip hop, metal, hardcore, whatever. That was like the legends, right? Like, you know, motherfuckers selling shit out the trunks of their car and like Wu-Tang Clan and like, you know, going into Manhattan and Staten Island and stuff. Like you'd hear these stories, right? And then you hear this shit. Yeah, and then you'd also hear the same thing about, you know, in hardcore, of course, right? You know, Rick to Life's like traveling distro was always like like the thing of lore, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever, you know, and all these disc shows would pop up, and just going to shows is the way that you got music too, right? Like the real shit too,
Yeah.
especially like, hey, these are demos, these are tapes, these are things that are early in the tier of doing stuff. So I think that's an important thing to sort of highlight. And then I love that you guys had the real DIY, like, you know, space and everything like that. It's
Yeah.
always hard to come by, man, you know, like
Yeah.
no matter what. And like if you want to go practice, parents are around or some shit or
Yeah.
whatever the fuck, it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
kind of figure those things out. So like, let me ask you about this. So this is your first band, and actually me and you are very similar this way. My first band was in college as well. So
Mhm.
it was a band called Aeschylus, and we did a bunch of stuff, and it was awesome. We played with a bunch of cool bands like Hope's Fall
Fuck
and,
yeah.
you know, shit along those lines. Sky Came Falling
Hmm.
and Tarabe, Every Time I
Yeah.
Die, you know. So
Yeah.
we're kind of in the same zone. So
Yeah.
doing all of that stuff really important. What was it like to just start performing, right? So you could be in the practice space, you're in the storage unit,
Yeah. Yeah.
all fucking, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like, yeah, this sounds pretty all right, cool.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now you got to go and do it in front of people. Tell
Right.
me about how that sort of happened and evolved, because we in Eulogy we see like the final product of like this awesome performer. But
Right.
how did it start at the outset?
I always like I I don't know, man. I just always like I think like the first thing that like caught my eye in like any heavy music, not even talking about a band, was just like the stage presence, you know, and like
Mm-hmm.
how the people were on stage, like what they were doing. And I always gravitated to like the people that were moving around the most, or like the drummer flipping over his kit, or like the guitar player that would like jump in the crowd, like, you know, and none of that shit ever seemed like, again, doable. You know what I mean? It was like, I'll never have a crowd, or like I can just jump into people catch me, like none of that. So in my head, I was like, damn, dude, that shit's crazy. You know what I mean? Like seeing stuff like that. So I just always want to like, in my head, like put on a good show, you know, like wow out, like give it my all, like just like, you know, I'm into everything I do too. So it's like, I'm just going to give this my all, but I'm also going to like make it entertaining, you know?
Totally, absolutely. I don't know who said this, but I either overheard, I don't think anyone said it to me, but I overheard this once, which I think is very true about performing, which is like, as soon as you step on the stage, right, you can give two things. You get 0 or 100, right?
Right.
But if you give 50, usually you're going to know that you could have given 100
Right.
in whatever way. And if
Yeah.
you kind of don't, you feel like you didn't leave it all on the field. You know, that is
Yeah,
that
for
saying
sure.
from sports or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And my feeling was always that at the very least, I'm going to go buck fucking wild and do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what's worse, to like walk away from that knowing that you kind of like didn't, you know? And like this is supposed to be the realm in life, a rare realm where you can literally do that. You're pissed off. Well, here's the microphone, man. Go let the people know
Right.
what is, you know, why, what, how, whatever it may be, right? And that's what creates that connection. And I think is very obvious in like your performance now, just sort of talking about it a little bit and just kind of figuring that out. Let me ask you a question, because obviously with Eulogy, there's a lot of different disparate elements genre-wise that kind of come into it. So, you know, as of now, you know, we're talking about being in your first band and all of these things, and sort of your listening habits and growing into sort of this underground scene. Did any other kind of musics kind of grow with you parallel to like your kind of love of like now, you know, metal and hardcore and punk and stuff of that nature? Was there other things that you were sort of exploring around the same time?
Yeah, I mean, all my other projects are kind of like Eulogy's a part of it now. You know what I mean? Like I've been in other bands, like, so I was like Dead Above Ground. After Dead Above Ground, I was in this like no way band called I was in like this hardcore band called The Defect, which was like kind of like Youth Crew vibes, alternative vibes. And then, you know, that was just as good. Then I moved to New York. It was in this group called Normally Important. And it was like no wave, like, you know, sponsored, like inspired by like DNA and like just like off shit, you know. And then from there I
I love that that's your New York period is the No Way
yeah,
vibe because
yeah,
that's,
that was
Bush Tetras, Liquid Liquid,
yeah,
and all of that kind of stuff. Very New
yeah,
York music. That's a
yeah.
good that's a good detour.
That was like when I was a part of like the whole like Letter Racer collective with like Wiki and Rat King and them, and so that was cool. And I learned a lot from all those kids. And then this group Animal House, which turned into Animal, which was like a kind of like experimental electronic, which then Breath Eulogy. So like those are kind of like a run through of just my projects
Yeah,
from
and
Death
just
Above
kind of
Ground to that. Yeah.
so let me ask you a question. So after Dead Above Ground, what made you want to start jumping into these sorts of different genres and stuff like that in terms of playing? What was sort of the impetus for that?
I would just meet people and they were like, "Yo, let's make some music." And most of the time it didn't happen. But with the people that, how like in most bands, it's always like that one dude who's just like, I got this idea, I got this idea, I got this
Yeah.
idea. Like, so I would just meet these people that had these ideas and they needed me to either like, they wanted me to be a part of it. And sometimes it would work. I was in other things in between all that too, but these are the things that actually like played shows and did stuff at one point in the timeline. And yeah, that was just my, I was just if I was, because I always wanted to perform, but I felt like if I just did things a certain way, I could always just be like a rock star, you know what I mean, and like do my thing. But there's with ideas and the whole like marketing side to it, that's a whole other story. But like, yeah, I just combined all these bands together, and I don't know, man, I just kind of like, I was always just down, dude. I like, even from the metalcore band I was in when we first started, like I was like, damn, I always wanted to be in like a pop punk band. I've never been in a pop punk band in my life. I always wanted to be in a pop punk band. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I was just always down for the idea of just making music with people.
Yeah, and that's pretty amazing though, because I feel like when you play with other people, no matter what the sort of, hopefully it's a pretty good experience, but
Mm-hmm.
no matter what you sort of, like most things in life, you're going to learn something out of it. And playing with in different styles and different things, like you pick stuff up, right? Like, oh, I
Right.
like the way they do that, or oh wow, I never just really thought about like writing something in 3/4 like this, and that
Yeah.
kind of really bangs, or something like that. And like
Right.
you just gain little things, right? That like you're not going to get from like maybe consistently playing one genre of music, like
Yeah, for sure.
front to back for the whole time that you're playing, and also playing with different people. And you know what? There are people who are like about it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are people who kind of aren't. And like you
Right.
said, like you just make yourself available and give some time.
Right.
Good things are going to happen.
Right.
So
Right.
let's talk a little bit just briefly about the New York period, because I mean, I'm pretty sure that's where you met Terry and Maddie Saver. So when I say Terry, I mean Prince Terrence, who
Yeah.
runs a label that you're on now. What was
Right.
it like to link up with those two sort of at the beginning? Just kind of like, how did you meet them, and what was that sort of vibe up like?
Yeah, so I lived in New York from like 2000, end of 2009 to like 2014. And in my time there, like I said, I was in this band, Normally Important. And within that scene, that was just like, I was like interning at some show for Todd P, some venue, I can't even remember the name, but I was like interning for him, like doing door and stuff. And just like trying to be involved, because in Baltimore I had like so many years of like booking, and I'd already had booked like 4 festivals before I moved to New York. You know what I mean? So like I'd already had like all these, like my band was like popping, like I worked at the Auto Bar, I kind of like left Baltimore like a high point and just went to New York, and just kind of was just like, I don't know anybody, but I'm like, I'm gonna try to do it. And then linked up with some people, and I met, honestly it was crazy, because I tell the story to everyone, like I would just listen to the Rapture. I didn't even know Maddie. I just knew him as in the bass player of the Rapture. Like, this shit slaps. My friend Antonio got me into them. And then Terry, I just knew him from like DJ and Hustle Club. Like, I didn't know him, And I would just like go to these shows like Ninja Sonic and whoever else was playing, and just like I was a fan. And
Sure.
then I would hit up Terry like every once in a while, just as a man of color, and he would invite me out to like some of his like gigs and like just like not put me on the list and stuff. We never really got like deep, you know, but he always gave me the nod, you know. And I was just making music, and I would reach out to him and be like, ask for advice, honestly. And he was like, oh, well, he's like, from my perspective, looks like you got this and that going on, and like, you know, keep at it. Like you seem like you're in the right spot. Like you seem like a good person, kid. Like, you know, like from what I can see, like you don't need a manager. Like all these things I was like kind of looking for, because in the New York like facade, like everyone has seemed so cool and like established. You know what I mean? And I'm like this kid from Baltimore, and like I'm just like roaming around trying to like figure it out, you know. And so I would just like try to like just be in the mix. You know what I mean? I didn't know anyone, didn't really have money, but I just figured if I at least place myself here and like support the scene, like at least like people would see my face, and you know, it wouldn't be weird if I asked them like later on the internet, like, hey, how could like I get a show, or could I open up for you, or like whatever it might be. Because at that point, you know how New York is, like you just kind of like ask questions, and if someone can help you, or if they vibe, like, yeah, man, meet me at the bar at 7, like come bar back. You know, it could just, it happens like that there.
Absolutely.
You know?
That's how I got my first ever bar gig.
Yeah.
Like,
you know,
it was literally that kind of situation. Shout out to Lyle Hodges.
Hell
my
yeah.
first, the one who took a shot on a scrappy, you know, light-skinned Colombian kid from Long Island. But yeah, no, and that is really true. And you've referenced this a few times, you know, being a man of color in, you know, on hardcore and heavier music, and then now in different musics. And it's cool to sort of see how you found like a kindred spirit in Terry, and you were willing to help one another. And now to the point where you're working together so intimately, like on projects and like doing stuff like that. Shit, I'll ask Terry, you know, for advice all the time. The guy's brilliant. So, you know, I'm like, hey man, I can't play drums like that. You know, so that's really awesome. He's got a great mind for a lot of different things in the game, for sure. So let's just, now we got to get to like daggers, man. Like, let's talk about Eulogy, right? This is the main dish. We went through all the appetizers, the 8-course meal of Isaac Shane. So Eulogy, I'm gonna tell you, to me, you know, when I first heard it, I believe it was Wagon V2, and Terry sends me like all the stuff that he's sort of working on and stuff. And I love Rare Form, but I loved Hustle Club too, man. I loved Hustle Club.
Dope.
So good. Like Hustle Club was so dope. And when I'm like, yo, this dude from Christensen's like chilling out with like Sal Principato and shit, and doing like all this awesome stuff. And we had met, you know, and like we had like this sort of connection through certain kind of like Long Island bands and friends and things of that nature. So I always like Terry, his vibe and everything he was doing, and as a DJ who was also fucking lights out. It was awesome. So, and still is, right? So, you know, he just showed me Rare Form, and we were just talking and stuff. He was like, yo, I got this dude who's like doing some really cool shit. And he's like, you should check it out. It's heavy. Like, I think that you would dig it. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, of course. And I was struck by just, first of all, how raw it was. I'm like, oh yeah, he wasn't joking. Like, this is heavy, like in my opinion, you know. And like sometimes that could be the thing. I'm like, no, this is heavy. It's raw as fuck. But then I was like, oh, look at all these different kind of disparate influences. But it's not what I thought. I thought the visceral nature of it just hit me right away. I was just like, man, this is heavy, but not in the way that, like, you know, the 85th death metal band I listened to today is gonna like sounds, right? Or whatever. And so that's what really struck a chord with me. When you were coming up with the sort of palette, the sonic palette for what you wanted to make with Eulogy, because it's dark, heavy, urgent music, right? Like we're talking, the songs usually don't top about over like 3.5 minutes or so tops. And screaming vocals, pounding drums, bringing in elements of kind of, you know, the sonics of like maybe, you know, orally like hip hop and things of that nature in a kind of rather modernity way. But then there's guitars and things like that. You can't really put it too much in a box where it's like this plus this plus this. So tell me about just kind of creating the sound and the identity of like what that would become, because it feels like, you know, you're onto the Eulogy thing. And that's pretty rare for a newer artist to feel like this feels like they're going up their own, you know, kind of avenue here.
Yeah, that's cool that you recognize that, and it means a lot. I just kind of like in my head from the jump, I was like, I gotta do this differently. Like whatever I'm gonna do, like it just can't be what everyone else is doing, because I'm tired of seeing it. Like I was just tired of like going to a show and seeing like 4 dudes on stage or 5 dudes on stage, and like even then it was like, I don't know, some bands, not dissing anyone, but people just stand there, and I'm just like, yo, like this is rock and roll, motherfucker. Like grab your crotch, let's get this popping. Like fuck, like we're like let's rock out. Like, you know what I mean? So like that was the mindset from the jump. I would look in a mirror and hold my hand like this and just jump up and down and sing this lyrics. You know what I mean?
I love
Straight
that.
up. And I was like, if I can't do this to the song, then I don't want to, like, it's not lit enough. And I would just practice in my head and just be like, yo, I just gotta like when I present this, it just has to be like as raw and like heartfelt and like live as it can be. Like every time, you know? So that was just the ethos behind it. Like it was just like, yo, I gotta like fuck this shit up every fucking show. And I have to give it my all. And like I'm just gonna like scream and like do it in a way that's like I just wanted to just do it differently, but like familiar, and like have everything that I've ever loved or was interested come out of it. You know what I mean? It's not, I'm not trying it to be anything. It's just everything that I've been absorbed coming out in how I can do it myself and how I like present things. Like, you know, I don't want to sound like or do it like anyone else. I want to do it how like I do it, but also be influenced. So.
Yeah, and I think that what's interesting is that physicality like has informed the way that you wanted to make the music. I think that's actually really fucking cool. It kind of almost reminds me of something like the Dillinger Escape Plan or something too, because I've had the pleasure of going on tour with them, and like you think they can't go, one show can't be crazier than the next,
right.
And it's so impressive, but it's like they're just able to do this thing that transfixes you in a way where and like people, the way that they react with people and what they build is just absolutely like wild. And I feel like you're building that, but like with a completely different sonic palette. So once you start, like you said, like once you started to kind of like feel that like in the lyrics and the vibe, and like you're like, all right, cool, this is how I want it to come off, and I see it. Like, I'm like looking at it and I'm like, all right, I see it. You're like, okay, how can I write songs to kind of bring that out? Is that kind of like how like the next sort of steps to kind of like creating a eulogy song?
I mean, honestly, like I've worked with a lot of producers, and shout out Spray, shout out Tom Richmond, Fox, Manny. It's just always been like, or even things that I've like, you know, done myself. I just has to be like, just whatever the vibe is, I have to like feel it. And also, I don't know, with my song selection, it's just like, I just have to feel it. You know what I mean? I have so many instrumentals and shit that just like, it's just like, nah, that's not eulogy. You know what I mean? It's not, it could be something I do and use, but it's not eulogy. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. There's no rules to it though. You know what I mean? Like it's literally just like heavy's always it's just always heavy. I know, like, I don't know. It like that's just how I feel. You know, like it's how I can express myself and be like come off angry or aggressive and not people like take me as like yo, dude, chill out, because I'm not that way really in real life, you know what I mean? But I channel it just through the music, because, you know, it's like I can't be like hyped up angry guy every day, because that's not like a good vibe or energy, and I like you got to deal with people. So I just funnel everything. Eulogy's me, funnel everything through the music, and I just let it be. You know, that's like I write it off through that. So yeah,
got it. So it's like this sort of big process of catharsis. Can you tell me about the lyrical themes in Daggers, and you know, kind of what you're exploring it, like through that side of it, and like what has inspired that?
Just like being an individual, like learning to like love myself and accept situations. Everyone's not out to like be your friend, even people you think you're friends. Like being like nice, like realizing that like, yo, like nice guys might finish last. Let me like turn this shit up a little bit because like I'm getting stepped on. So like just a lot of like just like life situations, you know. I really felt like at that time in my life that like I was doing a lot. I've become like a mark in my city, and people are just like not giving me my credit, not trying to acknowledge all that I've done. Again, as a Black male in this like predominantly like white post-hardcore punk scene, like that, I just like, it's just like a big fuck you. You know what I mean? Like I did it. It's like I did it. I am this. I did it. You can't take this away from me. Like I am this. You know what I mean? So that's what all the songs are, just like very heartfelt and like real. Everything's real. Nothing's fabricated. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I mean, I think in the performances too, like I said, the true like visceral nature and the viciousness of the performance drew me in, right? I think I said that at the beginning, and I think that what you're saying is, you know, I think that that's true of a lot of things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's something about, even in the story that you've just been telling, right? Like you were very free to kind of give yourself to a lot of projects, do a lot of things, but now we're pulling all of that experience, and that's why I love these sort of style of interviews, because now I kind of am understanding. Okay, so then Isaac was like, you know what, I got to take all this, internalize it, and make the thing that I need to make, to kind of like channel that out, throw the Hadouken back out, right? And then that's really cool. Sometimes you need to kind of just like, you know, do yourself, and like you said, like different situations, you know, and obviously being a Black man in America is fucking you know, a huge part of, you know, you navigating all of that. And I think the same way that, you know, music is amazing because we can learn about one another, and then also channel the same feeling from one another in a completely like abstract way, right? It's almost like telekinesis or something. And I always think that that's like a beautiful thing, right? And then maybe if I'm like, hey, I'm you know, I'm me, right? And I'm listening to Isaac and I'm feeling this visceral nature, and maybe I'm feeling some sort of different way or about different situations and stuff, but we still feel sort of the same way. And then we can kind of look into different situations as to why and what, and that creates a different entry point for communication than just like, hey, let's sit down and, you know, talk about something, right? And that's what really caught me right away. I was just like, whatever this motherfucker is about, he's about it. So I'm like, cool, like I'm in. So I think that that's really done you well. And the physicality again reminds me of something like a Black Flag, like a Henry Rollins or something. Like you have to be ready to deliver something like that. And I really appreciate that from an artist's perspective, and that you share that, you know, with us. Let's talk a little bit about the aesthetics, because I love the videos, man. The Hot Boy video is like fucking amazing.
Thanks.
Prince showed me that shit, and I was like, yo, Terry, this thing is so good. And obviously, like, you know, we'd been talking about before, you have the visual side, something that you're really interested in about, you know. Shout out to the alien body flag in the background, and the homie Travis, what's up? You know, you're obviously into aesthetics and things of that nature. Tell me about bringing out this the aesthetic side of Eulogy, and what you wanted to get out of it more in the visual realm that would, you know, dovetail with the music.
So from day one, I was like, with my homie Droin, I was like, yo, you're doing all the album art, single art, like all my Ray Pettibon shit, like when you said Black Flag. I was like, I just want it to be known that this shit's gonna be a certain way every time it hits. When it comes out, it's gonna be new, but it's gonna be like, oh yeah, Eulogy, like a staple, you know what I mean? And then with like visuals, you know, all my videos have been directed by Monique Barron. Shout out Monique. Waxo, shout out Waxo. Audrey, Vandy Castle, my wife, and a couple other people helped us. Every video's same crew, you know, from the jump. So video team, same crew from the jump. Visuals, same crew from the jump. Like this is a unit, you know. Like this is me, like eulogy is a bigger umbrella, and I'm just like the dude at the top that's gonna like try to trickle it all down. You know what I mean? So like that's why, because like everyone, even within the teams, like they all got their own shit going on. You know what I mean? So it's like how could it's like let's all elevate each other, like, you know. And I'm gonna try to help it do it through me as much as I can. But you guys are already good on your own, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the talent is obvious, but I love that you, like you said, you wanted a signature style and vibe, and you surrounded yourself with that too, because it can be like you've been in bands obviously throughout, and so when you have bands, you're like, hey, maybe the guitar player is great at drawing and they can do that, or somebody can pick up the slack for maybe doing certain tasks. But when you're alone, and now that I do Confines, and it's just, you know, it's just me making some like fucked up industrial dance music stuff, you know, and it's like, all right, cool. Now I'm thinking about, okay, who does this? And I don't have every skill, right? But it's nice to bring something together where you feel comfortable moving, you know, through that and like building yourself, right? So when you you're like, I'm keeping this team intact pretty much through as long as you can, the duration of eulogy, if you could have it your way.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, like,
yeah, I mean, the shit is amazing. Looks
well, we're all friends first and foremost, you know. So like, just the bond is there, and it's like I know like they all want the best for me and vice versa. So like when we all come to the table with ideas, it's like, how can we make the best thing possible? Not, oh, well, I don't want it to be too good because it's going to outshine me. Like, it's like, that's none of those vibes are at the table. So it's just cool to just have like genuine people on my camp to just be like, yo, how can we execute this the best way we can with what we have and in the time limit that we'd have it, and et cetera. You know what I mean? And we'll try to figure it out. And we always ironically figure it out, you know, and, you know, from Top Down to Wagon to Snakes to Hot Boy, like, they're all like their own pieces, and they all tie in together too. And we treat it almost as if the music's not even involved, you know, when it comes to that side. It's just
that's really interesting.
This is film, you know, like this is a whole realm within the realm, you know.
Got it. Yeah, and that's really cool. And also to have people, you know, sometimes it's cool to have, you know, maybe you're like, you're waiting on somebody who can maybe be a bit popular or something like that. But then in reality, sometimes you just got to go, and it's better to go with somebody who just wants to be there, who's like about the project and and wants to just ride with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I will say that some of my worst experiences have been with the former, and my best experiences are the latter. So I always look for people who and want to collaborate with people who just like, you know, are down. They want to do shit. And that goes for my musical projects. That goes for Saint Vitus. That goes for Factor Music. That goes for like everything I do. I'm looking for vibe now. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be good, but I'm also looking for vibe. Like, if you're not there with me, it's really hard. And by the quality and the look and the feel of everything that you've put out that I've seen, which I think is a lot of it. Thanks, Terry. Like, I mean, the team is awesome, and and the product is beautiful, and that's really cool. Only thing that's missing, obviously, is shows, but we're trying to get there, man. And, you know,
I'm ready.
Obviously,
I'm locked and loaded.
Yeah, and we're ready too.
Yeah, for sure.
When Saint Vitus opens, obviously, we'll have you. We're gonna figure it out. It's just, guys, it's a shitstorm out there.
Yeah, man. We just gotta keep pushing, man. We just like
totally
like, you know, at the end of the day, this is some futuristic shit. You know what I mean? Like, we always talk about the future and like technology. Like, this is a part of the future. So it's like, let's just like take it, learn from it, and hopefully we can like progress and like keep it moving. You know what I mean? So. Absolutely.
And I mean, I've learned how to do a ton of things that I didn't beforehand.
Me
and
too.
Like even this right now, it's like, this is these interactions, what we're doing here, this is going to stay after the pandemic. Right. And, it gives a different avenue and other things that we've been doing, whether it be merch stuff, live streams, other things of that nature, how we can do and learn these things.
Yeah.
It's a really big deal. And I think that that's cool. And it's brought us, you know, if there's a silver lining, is to learn new things, right?
Right.
Before we sign off, I do also want to talk about, because I really like this project, the Drip 410 stuff.
Yeah.
Because the Drip 410 stuff is hard as fuck. And I just saw that on your Instagram. And I was just like, oh, we got the graph, and I'm like, it's looking a little like Crown of Thornsy or some shit. Like, I'm like, yo, this looks dope. And it was just like, I was like, I clicked on it and I was like, oh, is this the same dude? And like, I kind of didn't know. Like, I just saw it on your page. Yeah. So, can you tell me a little bit about Drip just before we bounce? What's the vibe
shout out
there?
Mitch, shout out Dominic, shout out Andrew, shout out Brendan Williams. That's the, like, you know, secret weapon. It's been a band for almost 2 years now. The whole goal at first was to just like put out a beast ass EP without ever playing a show. We recorded that with Brendan Williams in March, right before pandemic hit. A week when we went up there to record upstate New York, it was like, haha, grab the sanitizer. And a week later, when I got home back from recording, shut down. And then we were like, fuck. So we just recorded this piece of art. We can't play on it, but the whole thing was to put it out, didn't play shows and like murk it. So then we were like, fuck it. Didn't know what to do with it. And in October, we were like, yo, this is a 2020 release. Let's put it out. We put it out. We're still working on some stuff. So like, we just wanted to put out the album, and just that's that, you know, and just let people listen to it. Hey, it's out. Bam. I sent it to people, you know, and then, yeah, man, I love it. We demoed the full length. Hopefully we'll record it by the end of the year. We're trying to shake shit up in the hardcore scene for sure. That's like, I do vocals and electronics. Mitch, if you're listening, that's the fam. Guitar player. He was in Sacred Love, on Young Blood, Malicious Code, Brick. So like Baltimore, like legend, low key. You know what I mean? He's an ill guitar player. Like, he's been my homie. We've been fans of each other since all these other projects I just mentioned of his, and vice versa. And I guess in the back of our heads, we were like, damn, man, it would be cool to work with each other, but we never, like, it has never happened. And then one day we ran into each other at Piccaro's, the Italian spot, and then he hit me up. And
that's the way to do it.
Yeah, and when I moved back to Baltimore, he was like, yo, U-O-G's gonna pop off. Like, in 2014, 2015, he's like, it's gonna blow up. He's like, it's gonna blow up. And I was just showing him, like, demos. And then 3-4 years later, we started a band together, you know. And then Drip, it was kind of like, we wanted to be like hardcore vibes, but we wanted to be with a twist and kind of like have it just kind of, again, just be our influences in like metalcore and thrash and whatever music we were into in that realm. And we just did our thing. I love how
it sounds great. I really think it's awesome too. Like, thanks. I had no idea really at first. I wasn't sure if it was just like something that you were posting because you liked it. And I snooped around. I snooped around a little bit. You know what I mean? I like to find things out.
I'm trying to keep them separate just for now, because I didn't, you know, I kind of want to go in and it just like, this is Drip, not Eulogy in Drip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because we're a new band, I kind of knew if I didn't do it, if I did it a specific way, I just didn't want it to ride the Eulogy wave. I wanted it to be its own entity because it's that good. You know what I mean? And that's why some people like didn't even know I was a singer of Drip, because I never really say I'm the singer and there's no band photos. So it's like, yeah, it's me. But yeah, man, I appreciate the kind words. That we really think we got something special with that band, you know. So
sweet.
Cool.
And from what I've heard, I'm interested in that journey as well. So I wanted to at least mention it here at the tail end, because I found out about it. Anyway,
yeah, cool.
Isaac, thank you for joining us, man. You're a talented man. I'm excited to see what you come up with. I'm excited to have you play at Vitus sometime once we figure out the world or whatever the fuck. And oh hell yeah. And I'm just thank you for the time, man. Appreciate you. And we'll be in touch. All right.
Cool. Sick. Much love. Thanks.
Be easy, man.
Peace.